For today's cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. We're going to be talking about the glamorization of insanity.
Yeah.
And why is it appealing to some?
Yeah. And I think it's like anything else that some people don't understand. Some people are trying to work through it through books or movies or something like that, as far as I don't know that there's that many that are willing to watch documentaries about people that have severe mental illnesses. Some do. That's just like as far as the people who are, can we still say serial killers on YouTube or not?
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can, because there are some of these people that have a fascination with them, and we have explored that before. And for some people, it's a matter of a type of study to try to see symptoms in other people so that they can avoid them, which is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
And then there are those that, honest to God, idolize them. Those are the ones that it's not.
Yeah, no, that's not. They're freaky. Like, and by freaky, it's like, how can you glamorize a serial killer when they're doing horrific things to other people?
I don't know. I don't know that the true. I think there's a blurring of the lines between like horror movies and real world horror.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that line is definitely blurred.
Uh-huh.
See, this was an impromptu thing.
It was. We had something else, but the other thing would have taken about 5 seconds. And Kid and I, because this is just us, we're just recording parts of our daily lives.
Yeah, we have deep conversations,
yeah.
like sort of intense conversations a lot of the time.
We think.
Yeah.
And then there's times that we do just random fuckery, like playing with a UFO hover toy.
I was staring at that
which
as
was
we were
great.
starting to record, and I'm like, I want to play with that after.
So you had to have a little bit of balance. But Kid, when he, posed this question, that was a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to him one of the things, I do not understand why people do what they do a lot of times.
And to reiterate, the question was, why are people fascinated with insanity or almost glamorize it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a lot of people. Have you watched the movie Gone Girl? It starred who was the one that played Lydia Dietz and what was her name, Linda, in Stranger Things?
Oh my God, I can't. You said that, and it went right out of my head. Anyhow, I'll think of it here in just a minute.
She was in it along with Angelina Jolie and a few other stars. Have you ever seen Gone Girl or
No.
Girl Interrupted?
No.
It's literally based on this girl who sort of just broke in a way, and so she got sent to the asylum, and her experiences in that asylum.
Oh, it's not a place that most people want to be.
And I see a lot of people like posting edits and stuff like that, and it's very much a glamorization of it in a way. Not the movie. The movie is kind of accurate to how those like high level, facilities are.
Right.
Not the one that I was in, but
Winona Ryder.
Yes.
is her name. And she's actually a very talented actress.
Yeah. It's and I don't understand how, because it's a very excruciating headspace to be in.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's part
Painful.
of it is that sometimes the people who glamorize it have not had the experiences themselves, or had loved ones who had those experiences, or been to any of these facilities, or dealt on any kind of in-depth basis with the people that are in these facilities. Mm-hmm. And, any of us who went in to study psychology and stuff like that, and it was always a running joke that we went into the study of that to diagnose our own neuroses.
Yeah.
Even amongst faculty and stuff, everybody was in agreement about that. It is seeking understanding of ourselves through study of others. Mm-hmm. And, mine was, why do people do what they do? Is there, and as far as, was it a matter of nature or nurture, and it's that and stuff that we have no understanding of. We still have, there are so many factors, and that's the reason as far as people making snap judgments, and it still pisses me off to no end to see these people, and they'll sit there and go, well, I would do, and I would do. And it's like, you don't know what the hell you would do if you had lived that same experience and been standing there in that moment. You don't know.
No, you don't.
And it's very easy to sit back and armchair quarterback somebody else's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you're the one that's trying to help this person sweep the pieces back together, hoping that you never find all the pieces, ever. But to try to get it back into some kind of semblance that is workable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, I don't understand. Is it the look? Is it the look that some of them have? Or is it just they see the drama?
I think they see the drama.
And the stuff like that. And they're like, that person is... Do they think that person is free in some way by acting that way?
I don't think it's that. I think it's... some people
or
do
is that
things...
or is it that fascination with that getting so close that you just snap and just completely let loose?
Well, the thing is, those people that snap and completely let loose usually those are the ones that are totally out of control.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the core of who they are is gone in that moment. Mm-hmm. We've seen that.
Very
firsthand.
much. Yes.
And that when the episode has passed, there is such shame and guilt and remorse, and it's gut-wrenching. Mm-hmm. That why anybody would glamorize something like that. I don't know. Hollywood, you've got to wonder, within that, is it a matter of spell casting? Giving people, and the whole thing is to tell stories, and to tell stories well, which it does.
Yeah.
But it also creates a false sense of reality.
It does. I mean, mental illness is a very painful thing to go with, go through. Mm-hmm. But to see someone just sort of glamorize it, I don't know, to me it's almost, well, yeah, I understand like seeing the drama and stuff like that. It's very much a theatrical type of thing in a way.
Well, it depends on what the episode looks like.
Right. It depends on the type of insanity.
Right.
But to actually know what that person is going through.
Right.
That takes away that glamour aspect. Oh,
yeah. To see somebody that is absolutely in the grips of paranoia to where they are hallucinating.
Yeah.
To see somebody, and a lot of times those people can become violent because they no longer recognize the people that are there around them.
They've completely lost touch of reality in that time.
Mm-hmm. Or to sit there and as far as a schizophrenic, to speak with them, and it's fascinating to speak with schizophrenics. And as far as the flight of ideas and the disjointedness of what they're saying, and that mixture.
See with the ADHD, sort of.
Well, no, I mean, theirs is a mixture of hallucination or a realm outside of our understanding with this realm, and they don't understand why other people don't understand.
Yeah.
And they can get very upset with you very quickly.
Yeah, especially if you try to be like, no, your delusions, it's just that. Some of them, it's like, okay, yeah, please tell me if this is just a delusion or if this is actually happening. Some of them do want that. Well, but not all of them.
There is an art form as far as people who work with the severely mentally ill, and to be able to do that in a skilled, helpful, caring way. And I've seen a lot of people who were in the profession that were not skilled or helpful or caring in any way.
There's a lot in the profession that are not.
That they are there to pick up a paycheck, and the people that need the help are very aware of that. And I have seen some of these workers gaslight these people that have severe mental illnesses. And that has a tendency to piss me off too.
Rightfully so. It's not.
But as far as the glamour aspect, and we can go back as far as if you want to go with what happened to Baby Jane, and you had Betty Davis and Joan Collins. Was it Joan Crawford?
Joan Crawford.
And
in the end, basically the guilt of whatever happened to her sister broke her to the point that she was almost abusing her, even though it was because she thought it was her fault.
Right.
But in the end, Joan Crawford's character actually told her, but right before she died in that movie, it was like, it was me. It was my fault. I was the one that crashed the car. I was the one that paralyzed me. It was not your fault. And Baby Jane looking at her and it was like, so all this time we could have been friends.
Yeah. The difference between mental illness and evil.
Yeah.
There is a vast difference. Mm-hmm. And that happens more frequently than people would like to think. Mm-hmm. As far as to blame someone else for something they didn't do, to the point that you have them convinced.
Yeah.
And when somebody has a mental illness, they are a vulnerable person.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And that we are seeing this happen in real time across our world right now, that those people are being taken advantage of and being used. And it's despicable.
Yep. It is. It's a truly despicable thing to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at what happened. And speaking of Baby Jane, she was also a child star. Mm-hmm. And we look back to the things that we've learned within just this past year. Mm-hmm. What has happened to a lot of these child stars? They always break.
Mm-hmm. Because they're in an industry that, even though, I mean, it's wonderful and creative, and it does not have to be evil, but it has chosen to be.
Right, but a lot of these children are used and abused.
Absolutely.
And then the blame is put on them, gaslighting those children.
Sure. And as far
even some
as,
of those parents of those children.
Yes. The rumors of ritualistic abuse. Now, that was something out of the satanic panic of the 80s. Some of it was bullshit and some of it wasn't. I think some of it was uncovering things that had been occurring that was at a level of evil that most people couldn't conceive.
Yeah. Now that shit over Dungeons and Dragons, that was just bullshit.
Yeah. This is the thing about the virus of fear, because it spreads into places that it shouldn't go. Mm-hmm. And within that, you had parents, and when kids are getting to a certain age and the parents realize, oh, these kids are growing up, they're going to leave soon, they'll have their own world. And that struggle to try to maintain control and that paradigm, which is abnormal. That's the baby duck story again.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard the baby ducks, you want to tell the baby duck story?
I mean, you got this little baby duck, and it's adorable. It's cute. And you don't want it to grow because you want it to stay that cute and small for so long. Forever. But inevitably, it's going to grow. Mm-hmm. So you just keep squishing it and squishing it and squishing it. And then it dies because it has been so stunted.
Yes. And we've got a lot of... They didn't die physically.
But they died mentally or spiritually.
Absolutely.
I mean, Amanda Bynes still ain't...
God love her.
She still ain't back to normal.
No. But outside of celebrity...
Jeanette McCurdy, she's still not fully healed.
Outside of celebrity, you have just regular, everyday people that this stuff happens to.
Yeah.
And in our Western caste system, out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. It's those people. We don't. No
and people
wonder.
say
What
that
you expect? It's those people.
People say that America does not have a caste system, but
Sure
that is
does.
inaccurate. That is actually a false statement to say that there is not a caste system over here, because there very much is.
Absolutely. And as an example, I can't remember. It's been several years ago. that there were people in the mental health profession that were trying to, the laws are just ridiculous. There is everything that possibly could harm people available legislatively under the guise of, oh, well, we can't do this because it's against their will. If somebody's fucking delusional, do they really have free will? I'm doing a lot of head bobbing, so it's like...
This is why we need the cameras.
I'm all over the place right now.
This is why we need the cameras.
No, you don't. No, this is why I don't need the camera right now.
Robert Phoenix told you to put the cameras on.
Well, at some point, he said, I don't have to do it now. It was, if somebody had gone missing, that there was a certain amount of time that authorities or whatever could search for them, and then after that, they just stopped.
Yeah.
They just stopped.
Which is just not right.
And
I mean, that's a person right there.
yeah, we've experienced that.
Yeah.
We've lived this. But it wasn't until some official, some government official, it happened to their kid. Mm-hmm. And so...
Usually that's the only time that action is taken. Mm-hmm. True action.
And I think the gentleman's name was Pete Earley. I may have that incorrect. If I've got that incorrect, I'll put it in the description box. And I contacted this man years ago. He had written a book that was called Crazy. And he had been a writer for the New York Times or something. And his son was in college and had a bipolar psychotic episode. Mm-hmm. And what the boy had done, he was delusional.
Yeah.
He was psychotic at the time. He had broken into somebody's house, gone in, peed on the floor, and had fallen asleep on their bed. That was it. And that the homeowners pressed charges. Even though Mr. Earley had gone and explained the situation to them, they insisted because the woman no longer felt safe. Now, let me tell you something. You want to know about not feeling fucking safe? Have a loved one involved in the corrections legal industry. You cannot imagine the level of free fall. And to glamorize
it's a
that.
Painful, excruciating.
Sure.
Journey.
And again, that goes back to the caste system. Well, you fucked around and found out. How dare you get involved with somebody like that?
And the thing is, a lot of those people that are like, oh, I don't feel safe anymore, they lack compassion and empathy.
They don't know
they
easily...
never put themselves in that situation and be like, okay, what if this happened to one of my people?
What if it happened to them?
Yeah.
They don't realize how easily it could happen to them. And I think that's one of the things that scares the shit out of people about mental illness. Because there's a lot of things that can cause the brain to go haywire. Mm-hmm. That are uncontrollable. There are viruses. There's different diseases that can happen. You could get a blow to the head, and your world could change in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Now, as to go back to the ones that glamorize it, I think a lot of times those are younger people.
It is. I mean, that's very much like a lot of teens, early 20s, mm-hmm. especially of my generation.
Oh, your generation, yeah.
I don't understand why there is such a glamorization.
I think because this is sort of the pendulum swing from all those years where it was taboo to talk about mental illness, or that it was somehow fucking shameful to have somebody in your family that was mentally ill, or even as far as what was it they called it, it wasn't the forbidden room. What was it? Where they would hide the people that had some kind of physical disability.
They put them up in the attic or the basement or something.
Attics, basement. Even Thomas Jefferson, it was reported, and I have no validation on this right now, that his wife was mentally ill and they had her chained in the basement. That wasn't uncommon.
But that's just cruel.
Sure. Absolutely was cruel. What we're doing to some of these people, some of the most vulnerable people in our society today, is cruel.
Yes, it is.
And people don't want to look at themselves. But because people have more access to mental health care than ever before, and it has, within that age group, my God, it is trendy to have some kind of mental health something, because to get a therapist or get whatever, most of the time you have to have a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people don't need therapists. They need a mentor. They need somebody to help them navigate the waters of teen years or early adult, not necessarily a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they used to have the Big Brother, Big Sister program. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I don't even know if that's allowed anymore.
We don't know.
You know, it used to be that people could look up to teachers and coaches and people like that, but our world has become so fucking perverse right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was a matter of, it may not necessarily have been your parents, because there was this weirdness to talk to your parents about certain things, but to go to somebody else's parents.
Yeah.
There are so many broken families right now.
It's a matter of...
There are no parents.
That's true. It's not like...
So the glamorization of mental illness, I think a lot of it is somebody... It's that crying out, somebody please see me.
Maybe that is what it is.
And
I wonder if someone has already talked about this on YouTube as far as the glamorization of mental illness.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that there's lots of other people talking about it. But it's coping skills and resilience, and with the baby ducks being squished.
But even like where we have lived with someone that was mentally ill and experienced all that, being in an actual facility, it may be a low-level facility, but it's still a mental facility.
Sure.
And actually seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that should be glamorized.
No.
Now, they can be very nice people.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get in a delusion or they start having like this severe panic attack, you can feel it. It's it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's agonizing.
It radiates from them.
Yeah. It's a very visceral, agonizing thing to experience.
It is. And that's just like as far as the criminally insane. And going in that facility, of course, that was many years when I was in that facility. And there are some people that they will never be able to function in society.
Mm-hmm.
That's fact. I've worked with some of those kids that, like I said, a 10-year-old that was psychotic. And truly psychotic. For reasons. Because the kid had been horrifically abused. It was brokenness of spirit and mind. Now, what are they going to do with him? Are they just going to put him out on the street until he commits some crime and they throw him in prison? Because that's where they're going.
Yeah.
And people to sit there and go, good, throw away the key. And it's like, wrong.
Yeah.
We need to have long stay facilities again with trained people to deal with this.
That's the thing. We need people that have the proper training.
Uh-huh.
Who actually have compassion and who has compassion on these people.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion, empathy.
Sure.
But
And there
compassion
are
most of all.
There are some of them that honestly are so far gone that they are feral.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are dangerous to themselves and other people. And there are no easy answers on some of these things. But most people... Because
it's still a human life.
Sure, but most people don't see it as that. Again, it's that out of sight, out of mind. So, you know, is what America is going through a whole lot of karma? I don't know.
It may be.
Maybe.
Oh, I've wondered that myself, and it's...
I know in
there is no clear answer on this.
No, in our belief system, Christ said, if you do it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me.
Yeah.
Now, we take that seriously.
We do.
And we know what it's like to sit there and somebody judge us as family members because it's guilt by association.
Mm-hmm.
And to listen to other people that have never been through it, never experienced it, talk out of their ass. And that pisses me off.
Oh, it's infuriating.
And because we have Mars in Aries right now, and even though I don't have any Aries, I am a Leo.
Yeah.
And I have been an advocate for years.
You have. But you've worked with these people.
Yes. And they're people.
Yes. And so I was like, these people, they are people. They are still human beings that deserve at least an inkling of love.
Yeah. And most of these people have no idea who are the individuals that's in prisons. They don't know.
No.
They have not seen the women that have been so abused by anybody and everybody in their life that they've become so hardened that they don't know anything else except pain.
Mm-hmm.
That they have sold their bodies. They have scarred their bodies. Other people have done that. They don't know what it is to be loved. They have forgotten themselves that they are human.
Yeah.
Same thing is true with the men.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to you, every time I hear some stupid asshole joke about, oh, don't drop the soap. And I'm thinking, really? Do you think that sexual assault on anybody, anywhere is okay?
It's not.
Do you really believe that somebody deserves to be hurt? What kind of a person are you? Most people don't want to look inside themselves.
No. They don't want to be introspective.
Not glamorous. That's a sickness of spirit. That's not just sickness of mind. Now, like I said, this is a soapbox I've been on for years.
It is.
And even all the way down to the governor of Tennessee there years ago knew my name.
Yep.
But is it glamorous?
It's not.
It's not glamorous.
That's why I posed that question.
And some of these kids, God love them,
understand it.
they need somebody to see them, to show them the reality of it.
And there's a difference between someone being quirky and being open with those quirks.
Right.
Versus being truly ill of the mind. Absolutely.
And those people that are truly ill of the mind, most of them they are in a living hell that we just can't see and perceive.
Yeah. But they live it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, you can see the suffering.
I have seen some people that it's like, oh, the all natural, whatever. Well, yeah, if you can do that, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But there are some people that can very much benefit from medication. I think that we need to leave all kinds of options. It shouldn't have to be that, dichotomous. It shouldn't be just black or white. Mm-hmm. I think that for some of these people, even as far as the psychedelics, the research that they're doing on that can be very beneficial for certain people.
Microdosing.
Uh-huh. That's
a whole can of worms.
Even as far as change of diet, there's things coming out that was like Alzheimer's, a link to some kind of liver issue. Read this several weeks back, and Alzheimer's. That these people, it wasn't that their brain was deteriorating; they were so toxic that it was affecting their mind. Mm-hmm. And you've got to wonder how many people suffered and died from this condition, which could have been corrected easily.
But toxic from what?
Well, the liver is the filter of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, just like any other filter, it needs to be cleaned out every so often.
Water.
That's one of the things. But, there's different herbs that people have used and different things like that. But, no, the glamorization of mental illness, it's not glamorous.
It's not.
And it was just like, I never understood why anybody would want something that somebody that had hurt other people had produced that's not, that's got to be a cursed object. Any artist, there is a piece of them imbued in that artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I wouldn't, But they look at them like heroes somehow.
But they aren't.
No, they're not heroes.
Oh no, that's a whole nother can of worms right there.
Well,
That's
but it is sort of along the same thing as
Yeah.
far as glamorizing them.
Yeah, it is.
And it depends on who you're talking to and the context, even.
Mm-hmm.
I'll not open that can of worms, but just because somebody gives an order to go out here and kill lots of people,
Yeah.
and somebody didn't have an order, but they kill lots of people, is there really a difference? And everybody going to go, "Ooh, she crossed the line."
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are questions I ask myself.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with asking questions.
Well, in today's world, it's like, oh, she dared ask a question. But I think that the sickness that is more prevalent in our culture right now than mental illness is spiritual illness, because there are so many people that are spiritually poisoned.
I think that's what's causing a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. You can't separate mind,
believe
body, and
that.
spirit.
No. I mean, literally, it is mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, we about to wind this because I went on my soapbox. You knew you was
It's
opening
all
a
right.
can of worms.
Well, I wanted to know. I wouldn't have asked that question if I did not want to know.
No, this was a very vital, and rather than just a discussion between me and you,
Yeah.
because we would have had this discussion anyhow.
Literally.
It was just letting other people, a glimpse inside our world.
I mean, it is. I mean, we talk about shit like this
We do.
almost all the time. We talk a variety of things.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take an opportunity. Lady over on BitChute, thank you.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
YouTube, Kabuki Theater, God love you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Words of kindness. You have no idea
Just sweethearts.
how healing those words can be.
Sweethearts. They're sweethearts.
Yeah.
Seriously, thank you.
Kindness is never lost. Even though at the time it may not seem to be appreciated, it's planting seeds.
It is. More people need to just have kindness in their hearts.
Mm-hmm. Final thoughts, kid?
No, I think that's it. I still am trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I've been trying to wrap my head around it for 58 years. Almost 59. It's just, I don't get this plane of existence I just don't even have the words. I can't even form the words on it. It's just like,
and
what?
to an extent,
What?
yeah, it's legit. Like, to an extent, like, I think everybody has been guilty to a certain point of glamorizing some things.
Sure. And it's just like,
But like, when you actually deal with it, it really changes your perspective.
yeah. And I think that there are some people that may glamorize it, that they really do have problems. And that may be, they may be drawn to that because they are trying to self-diagnose.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, there's a lot of, in that age group,
Try to
there's
figure out what's wrong
a lot
with
of
them.
attention seeking.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of it. So, if you've had experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. Be
Yeah.
kind. Oh,
Yes.
God, please. We've got a world that needs kindness.
Kindness and compassion.
Yeah.
If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe. And check her out on BitChute and Rumble, Warlanda, Cup of Coffee with Scream. Warlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream, my bad. Check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, at Orlando, Orlando? Orlando, Florida. No.
It's an A with an A.
Yeah. Warlanda. COCWS. It is like a radio station call sign.
Yeah. And if you or someone you love is suffering from mental health problem, There is in the description box, as far as a national hotline, there is help available. It may take you a while to get exactly what you want or what you need. You don't have to settle.
There's resources.
If you get a therapist that does not understand you, find another one. Find you somebody who does.
Yeah.
A lot of communities have groups that you can join if you've got a substance abuse issue or different things like that. You can find like-minded people that are trying to find healing. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your loved ones. There's always hope.
Yeah.
Where there's life, there's hope. So,
There is.
know that you are loved. Treat other people the way you would like to be treated.
Yes.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.
Bye.